everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of
My Girlfriend the Artist.
Today we're talking about gratefulness as our topic. This topic came up between Chris and I because she mentioned to me this book called Wake Up Grateful, and it's by Christy Nelson. And what I didn't realize when she recommended it to me is that Christy Nelson is the director of a Network for Grateful Living, which is an online organization that was started by Brother David Stendal Rast. And he's like a Benedictine monk who I heard interviewed on Krista Tippett's On Being. And when I heard him talking about his way of living and perspective on life, being focused so much on gratefulness, it just resonated. So when Chris told me about this book, and then I realized that I'd been following that Network for Grateful Living for a long time, it was just another one of those synchronicities that made sense, that all of a sudden it plays into what we're doing here with My Girlfriend the Artist, and just affirms why we're friends. And Chris, I don't know if you feel like similarly about that.
Oh yes, when we were working on these episodes, planning what our discussions would be, we were just right on the same page. And when we both found out, we had these books and we had this commonality, it was, yes, this is happening for sure. And, Sarah, like you and I were at the same point in our life where we've learned so much, and we have learned how to have the tools to do these things like gratefulness. And because, gratefulness isn't just something that you say from time to time, or it isn't maybe just I'll have a gratefulness journal and I'll write in that every day, because that's what I was told, write in your gratefulness journal, be grateful. And of course we always are grateful for the things, but I've really discovered this last year that gratefulness actually is so much deeper than just writing it in a journal or saying, oh, I'm so grateful for the things I have. It's actually a way of being. It's actually just a way of looking through life at a different lens, and all the same things may be there, but what it does, it brings you to the present. It brings you clarity. It makes your heart happy. It settles you. It just brings you enough of whatever there is. And that is just, it's such a transformation, actually, is just to go about and just be this person that has this gratitude and this gratefulness. But it's a practice thing.
You talk about mindset, and you can have a mindset of, say, it's a mindset of lack, where you're always seeing the glass half empty, or you're looking for always what is missing here instead of what is there for you. And this is a mindset or a way of looking at the world that leads you to compare and compete and be envious, maybe, when you don't really have to. So the opposite kind of that is looking at what is there for you and being on the lookout for what's there for you, and adopting an attitude of gratitude that pervades how you live your life.
The more you practice gratefulness, the more it's going to happen, and the more abundance that comes into your life. And so it's just more and more and more. And the next thing you know, you've got this beautiful energy, and it's attracting like-minded people to you. So it's just, I never thought, Sarah, that this would be so life-transforming for me. I mean, I've always been a very grateful person, but to go to that deep of a level with it is wow.
And one of the things that really kind of came home to me with this topic is that if you can focus on being grateful, there isn't room in your head for not being grateful. It's like a mentality of lack and a mentality of gratefulness can't occupy your brain or your mind or your heart at the same time simultaneously. If you adopt this way of seeing the world through this lens of gratefulness, it prevents you from being worried about what you don't have, right? And it gives you a sense of what you have being enough. And that feeling of having enough translates into a feeling of abundance. So you are, you're full. Your life is full. And I come across this quote from Eckhart Tolle that I wanted to share because I really related to this quote, especially with regard to gratefulness and my own experience. He says that when you feel the fullness of life that is within you, it's inseparable from who you are in the depths of your being. You realize you actually have everything already. This quote really gave me chills because it resonates with me on a level that goes to my experience. I did have tongue cancer in 2018, and I went into the hospital for surgery. They had to remove the cancer. They removed about a third of my tongue, and they had to replace it with tissue from my arm, and then they had to replace that tissue with tissue from my leg, so I had a skin graft. And so this was a long, drawn-out kind of procedure. And then I was hospitalized for a total of 12 days. And what was great about the hospital that I was in is you had the opportunity to get Reiki performed on you by volunteers that would come to your hospital room. And so these two little ladies came to my room one day and told me they were there to perform Reiki. And they were tiny little old ladies, and they came up to the bed and they wanted to adjust the bed to make it higher so that they could perform the Reiki service for me. But when they started to raise the bed, this alarm went off, and this alarm is attached to the feeding tube mechanism that was going through my nose into my stomach because I was trached, my throat, and then my mouth was so swollen I couldn't talk, much less eat. And this thing was sensitive, so anything where it got clogged or kinked or anything, the alarm would go off. And the little lady was grabbing the bar, the communication bar that you just push the button, and she's like, "Hello, we're trying to do Reiki, and this alarm is going off." And I was like, oh, these poor people, Someone came in and turned off the alarm, and they were able to raise my bed. They were on each side of my bed and just moving from my head and downward toward my feet. And, as they started, I started crying. I was like, "Why are you crying? Come on now. This has already been kind of disturbing for them. Don't cry and upset them more." But then I thought, well, people probably cry a lot during Reiki, so it's okay if you cry, and I let go of that. And when they got to my midsection, I started to feel a warmth in that area of my body, and then in my mind's eye, I saw these golden orbs kind of floating in my inner vision, and I heard a voice say, "You have everything you need." And it said this to me 3 times. And I knew it wasn't my voice, like the voice that was telling me not to cry earlier. It was something else. And, it was amazing. It was, whoa, exciting, kind of woo-woo, but yes, I realized I had everything I needed because I had amazing healthcare givers. I had amazing doctors. I didn't have to have chemo. I was healing quickly. I had really good health insurance. And then thinking about what that voice told me, I realized that in my entire life, I've always had everything I need. And that's a feeling of gratefulness that sustained me through all of my healing and recovery, and helped me, once I was done with it, realize that you have everything you need, so there's no need to worry, and you can be sustained by a very powerful vibration of energy that just lifts you up and allows you to do everything in your life with a whole lot less effort and concern.
That's just... Thank you for sharing that story. You are so brave and you are so strong, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that journey. Thank you for sharing that with us, and that is a massive inspiration, and you are a massive inspiration, and I'm so glad that you're well.
I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for our friendship, and I feel like because we were both kind of in this mode of being grateful, that's kind of how we found each other, and I just appreciate you so much, and thank you for saying that.
Well, you know, every time you tell your story, you heal, and so we want to hear that story from you, and we send you love and energy. I think I'd just like to end with one quote that basically sums up everything we've just said, and it's by Melanie Beattie. And she says, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns whatever we have into enough and more."
That's true, and it basically sums up everything we just talked about in a very succinct and articulate and beautiful way.
Big one. I've gone through a number of very difficult years lately. life changing, and right now the only thing getting me through is gratitude. Maybe not the only thing, but it's a massive thing that's getting me through.
Absolutely. I totally agree, and I'm there with you.
time we film an episode, we get really excited about the topic because we're so passionate about it. Every month I think this is the biggest one, but this really is a deep one. I'm blessed that I have learned how to make this into a deeper, lifelong practice. Sarah, thank you for this amazing conversation.
Yes, Chris, thank you so much for, all of these conversations, and we've still got some more to come. So thank you guys for watching and listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Absolutely wrong. Hello. Boom, boom, boom. Scratch that. Okay, ready? Ready? Go.